Hey, what is up, you guys? My name is Jess, and welcome back to Planted Hippie. Welcome back to another planty video, you guys. Today I have a ton of Hoya propagations specifically to take care of, as well as doing some repotting of existing propagations. So if that does interest you, I please ask that you stick around, leave a like, maybe even a comment down below, or even hitting that subscribe bell so that you are notified every time I upload a new video, and to help me keep on planting. Please also don't forget to follow me on Instagram at planted.hippie, where I post new planty photos daily. So with that, let's go ahead and get into today's video. Oh, and quickly, I did want to mention, you guys will probably notice in the video today that I did actually get a new tattoo. So I did want to quickly show it off just so you guys aren't like, what's that? What is that? And just I not address it. I did actually make and post a little reel on my Planted Hippie Instagram page, just because, as you will see, it is a tiger wrapped with a monstera and a little bit of some palm foliage, and it is just super planty. And without further ado, I thought I could show you guys here. So as you can see, it is a beautiful tiger's face with some wrapping monstera and some solid black work. So I'm just really excited to have this amazing piece of artwork on my body permanently for life. If you are someone who does get tattoos, you'll understand that there are specific tattoos that you have in mind and have planned for like a really long time. And specifically a tiger tattoo was something that I have wanted since I was literally a small child, and couldn't even fathom that I would be able to find an artist that could make something so beautiful happen for me. So I will leave my tattoo artist's name and Instagram page down in the description. So if you guys are local in Jacksonville, Florida, or are willing to travel for her, she is an amazing artist and I couldn't recommend her more. Her name is Morgan Stout and she works at Obsidian Ink in Orange Park, Florida. So yeah, I had to give her a little shout out because this is like my favorite tattoo now, hands down. So yeah, I definitely had to show you guys that beautiful new tattoo of mine, since it is definitely a little planty as well. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into today's video. Alrighty, so this is my little setup I have for today's video. I'm just going to be working like in my living room area here. So yeah, like I was saying, I do want to take some propagations. One of those plants being today, I wanted to take some cuttings from my variegated Hoya Polyneura, as well as my variegated Hoya Obovata. So I am very excited to take some cuttings from those today. I'm also really excited to be potting up the remainder of these Hoya compacta cuttings in a bigger pot with the little soul guy that I have right here that's been potted up for a few weeks now. So they will all be joining each other in a nice big pot. This Hoya compacta used to be a big, long, trailing, beautiful plant, but after a summer of dealing with mealybugs, I decided to just sort of chop her back and start over so I could have a thicker plant to start off in spring, and it was just easier to treat the little tentacles and like little chopped up bits of Hoya by just sort of soaking them in the sink with hydrogen peroxide and alcohol, and then going ahead and starting the rooting process all over again. So hopefully this round of making Hoyas goes a little bit better for me and mealybugs stay away this winter. And not pictured here is actually my Hoya Sunrise being treated in the sink with some alcohol as well. I am going to be taking cuttings from her after she is done being treated so that she does not contaminate anyone whenever we go to put all the propagations together. I will be, I think, propagating in water, so I'll have to find a little vessel for that. But let's go ahead and get started. Alright, cool. So I kind of set up a little potting station here in my living room. I have my potting mat here, and hopefully it doesn't get too messy since we're sort of doing smaller stuff today. I'm going to be starting here with my Hoya Polyneura, and there's just a lot of like growth happening, so I did want to take cuttings off of the one strand that is currently, I guess they're both putting out growth points. Almost every node has a peduncle, which is really cool and awesome. And this mama plant is getting super rooted. I'll try to get close to the camera to show you guys. As you can see, this Hoya is just getting super, super rooted out and it's just loving life. So I don't want to really repot it and disturb it as of yet, but I did want to go ahead and take some cuttings just because it's getting so long. And I did want to go ahead and maybe even try and sell some locally just to make my money back on the plant before these become like not popular anymore, which I highly doubt because these are such a beautiful plant. But I did want to get some little plugs started, but it's always good to take like insurance cuttings, I guess, of your more rare plants, because just in case something goes wrong with this big mama plant, I will have other cuttings of this more rare Hoya to fall back on if anything were to happen to it. So I'm gonna go find some shears and let's get started on cutting this girl up. Okay, so we have my shears here, so I'm just gonna take a look at which growth point, I guess, has less going on, you know? These leaves seem to be a little bit further along, and this one is the one that has the growth point already started. So I may just go ahead and cut this one back, and let's go ahead and just do that. I am gonna cut it pretty close to the base of the plant just so each node has a nice long stem to root on, because Hoyas can root almost anywhere on its own stem. So let's go ahead and get as many cuttings as we can from this beautiful plant. I will be again rooting these in water. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. And there she is. There's one cutting. And I know it's a little scary whenever Hoyas are putting out new growth and everything and you are wanting to propagate. So I'm not going to be too sad if this top little leaves end up shriveling up during the propagation process. But in any case, I will keep you guys updated on if this little tip ends up surviving. I will go ahead and just cut below each node all the way to the base, just leaving a little bit at the tip of the next node so that there is a little bit of matter there for the next growth point to obviously stem from. So yeah, I am just working my way down the plant. It's actually pretty easy for Hoya. This is like the more rare Hoya I've ever like propagated before, so it is a little bit scary, I guess, but I'm really excited to be able to share them with friends and other plant people in the community. Look how cool, look how many, they're so cute. I'm gonna try and get them all together. But look at how cute all of them are. I got 5 cuttings. I left one behind because I couldn't pick it up, but here it is. I have all 5 sitting out. I'm gonna let their like little sap dry, and I actually got some on my fingers, so I'm gonna go wash my hands real quick just in case I'm like one of those people who are allergic. And I'm also going to pop back the rest of my baby in the cabinet where I got her from. Okay, so sort of moving on, but not really forgetting about my little Hoya Polyneura cuttings sitting here. I'm just gonna sort of take out my compacta cuttings that I have and lay them out. I did mention, I think, that I have been having a mealybug problem, so I did go ahead and treat all of these cuttings with alcohol and hydrogen peroxide, and then gave them a really nice rinsing with the sink that's on like the really high-powered spritzer mode to get any sort of eggs or anything I'm not seeing on the leaves off. Especially for my Sunrise here, it had on one of the leaves, like it was just coated with mealybugs, and it was on the side of the plant that was like facing the corner, so I couldn't really see it and how bad it was getting. So I have been sort of treating these plants because I knew it was sort of an issue for me. So I didn't expect it to be that bad, but we all live and learn, and again, no one is perfect. I went ahead and really deeply soaked this in some alcohol. So she is back in the picture now with us. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and clean out this, put some fresh water in it, and then put my little Polyneura babies inside. I have it back. Oh, I'm spilling. God, I'm such a like shaky person when it comes to stuff like this. So very easily, I'm just going to plop them in the water like this, and hopefully with all of them just next to each other like this, it'll provide some good support and they can all just sort of sit in here together. Let's see if those are all in. Yes. Oh, so I will have to kind of keep an eye on it, make sure no one is like flopping outward or anything. Oh. Let me see if I may have a better, let me see if I have a skinnier vessel for these. Okay, I found a more like bigger glass, like a wider glass, and only filled it up like halfway so that the leaves can kind of sit inside of the glass like that. I put a little too much water, so I don't want the cuttings like fully submerged, obviously. There we go. And I'll show you guys obviously when I'm done what I'm talking about. So yeah, let me show you guys. As you can see, the glass is not very much full, but just the tips, I will maybe put a little bit more in. Just the tips of the bottoms, I guess, are submerged so that the foliage doesn't obviously get all gross and rotted. And these guys will hopefully take root in the next couple of weeks, and I'll keep you guys updated. Definitely follow me on my Instagram, like I said, to keep updated on stuff like that. I definitely post on my stories for stuff like this, so really happy about that. I'm gonna add just a hair more. There we go. And I'm just gonna put this in my IKEA greenhouse cabinet where the other one is, like basically right next to the mother plant, so that it is getting optimal light and lots of humidity. So yeah, first propagation done. Really happy about that. All right, next propagation I wanted to go ahead and take care of was making more Hoya Sunrise propagations. I have this beautiful Hoya Sunrise trellis that I made in a video. I believe it was a plant tours video, so I'll have to link it up above. Go check it out definitely so you can see where this plant started out. It is definitely a lot more full, but again, I mentioned it is being attacked by mealybugs, so a lot of the growth is a little funky looking at the moment. But I wanted to go ahead and take cuttings regardless to go ahead and treat them, and then I was going to go ahead and create cuttings so that I could later make a hanging basket of this Hoya Sunrise, since I clearly have it on a trellis here and I want it to be in a big trailing hanging basket one day, and I'm really excited to do that. So I wanted to go ahead and take cuttings today, so let's go ahead and do it. So I don't really know where to start. It's a pretty long plant, so I am just sort of going to take it from pieces that are questionable looking. It doesn't have to look perfect, just because I know it has been struggling lately, and I am going to use this little thing that I brought over and didn't use for the other one. My little bundle of Hoya Sunrise that will hopefully do a little bit better than this girl is doing. She's a little bit shorter on her trellis now. There's a lot of growth points on the lower parts of these stems that started to jet out that will probably have a lot more energy to be focused on now that I've taken away some of the more questionable foliage that was being attacked by mealybugs. And now I have left, again, some of those growth points to start to fill out the rest of the trellis. So yeah, hopefully that does well, and we should have, and I may take one more cutting. It's had two little things on it. Again, I'm going to pop this in the top of my Millsbow tall cabinet, so it's getting a ton of direct grow light, and hopefully it roots up nicely as well. And lastly, before we start actually potting stuff up, I am going to take one cutting off of my Obovata, and then I'm actually going to be taking it out of this terracotta and putting it into a small hanging basket so I can start enjoying it as a hanging plant rather than having it take up a lot of like lateral space in my cabinets. So as you can see here, or maybe you can't, so I'll get a little closer. I think I showed it off in my favorites video. Recently, I had a little growth point happening here, so I'm just gonna make a cut right above it and propagate this whole section here. And these and this Hoya is a lot bigger, so hopefully I can go ahead and use this. So yeah, I'll have to fill that up a little bit more, but I think that is going to work. These have a lot of really nice aerial roots on them already from being in the cabinet, like little stubbies. So I'm hoping they will continue to root out nicely in this little vessel. I'm gonna go ahead and top this off and put it in the cabinet with the other ones. But for now, I'm gonna place it over here with the other babies. And let's go ahead and start potting up some stuff. So I'm actually done with my Sunrise, so I'm gonna go put it back in its cabinet and we can focus on the last two tasks, which was potting up this beautiful Obovata in a new hanging basket and potting up these compacta cuttings all into one new planter together. I'm gonna have to pick out a pot for it. I think I'm gonna go with a clear pot just so I can monitor the root growth and make sure everything is turning out the way I want it before I move it into a hanging basket again. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so I got the clear pot that I was talking about. So I'm gonna start with just potting up my compacta cuttings before their little roots start to dry out. So let's go ahead and just throw some in the bottom. I am using a more peatier mix rather than a chunkier mix, just because I think Hoya appreciate just a slightly less chunkier mix than my philodendron and monstera. It's a little bit more similar to my cactus mix, so they appreciate it. Let's just go ahead and sort of place them in, and then while it's soft, yeah, let's do that. So I'm just gonna sort of start plugging them in wherever they will kind of fit. And I do have quite a few, so I do need to make it sort of snugly and plan out where I want to kind of put everyone. I do have one in a pot already, so let's go ahead and take her out. Oh, she's rooting nicely still. It's good. Make her a little bit of a bigger hole in the middle. I'm actually kind of glad I did not get this wet because it's already pretty difficult to do when it's dry. As you can see, I did want to show you some of the good roots on some of them. Some satisfying roots. I love Hoya roots. I think they're just really unique plants in general. So, love this. Nice. That went a lot better than I expected. Yay! Okay, so I'm just gonna sort of keep doing what I was doing and potting in just a little bit more in spaces I feel like I can squeeze a little bit of soil into. Because once I go to water this, it's definitely going to settle the soil down in the places that I am not getting to. And I definitely want this plant to do well and have all of those little nice juicy wet roots to be submerged in nice wet soil whenever I go to water it. Okay, I'm gonna go give this a little water in the sink and I'll be right back. Okay, so that compacta is now drying and I am going to be moving on to my last repotting, which is my Hoya Obovata Variegata. And I don't really think this, and I don't really think this is too root bound. I could be wrong actually, I kind of see some roots. But again, I just wanted to move this to a hanging basket so that I can turn it into more of a trailing plant rather than a stationary plant that's taking up a lot of space by growing like really laterally like this. So hopefully that'll free up some room in my Millsbow cabinet and I can actually put my compacta that we just created together in there and take its spot. This can be hung up in the plant room from now on. So let's go ahead and get into its new home. I'm going to just be putting it in a little 6-inch hanging basket that I got from work. Let's go ahead and grab it and get it ready. I'm like really lucky that my bosses let me take home stuff like this occasionally when I ask. So I appreciate my bosses at work. So here is just a comparison, I guess. A little bit of an up pot. It is a lot obviously rounder and deeper than this really tapered pretty terracotta. It is also plastic, so as you'll see here, I'm probably about to struggle getting this out of this terracotta, but it's okay. We will probably be losing some, oh, I just take back everything I just said. That was probably the easiest thing ever. It literally just popped right out like it was ready to go. I wish you guys could see. I don't want to spill soil everywhere, but I also want to show you guys the roots. Not too terribly root bound, as you can see. I don't want to move it around too much. I, again, want to just move this into a bigger pot. So when the cuttings that I took today are ready to be planted up, I can go ahead and just pot them into the same container here to make a much fuller hanging basket. So let's go ahead and pop this into its new home. I was really expecting this to not, let me take the hanger off for a second. I was really expecting this not to pop out of the terracotta as easily because I've just heard that Hoya roots can really stick to it and cause issues when trying to repot like this, but that was really easy. So let's go ahead and I'm going to situate it that the vines can grow out on away from the little prongs here. And now I'm just going to backfill. So yeah, what have you guys been up to lately? I know everyone is kind of, I think, getting ready for winter. If you're in Florida like me, and you don't really have like a really cold winter, it doesn't snow here, it barely even changes to fall. The holidays are coming up. Let me know what you guys are planning on doing. If you have any plans for Thanksgiving or even Christmas, you can drop those down below too. Never too early to start planning, I guess. I am just getting with family here locally. We are obviously going to be cooking all together and I'm really excited. For once, I get a little anxious around the holiday season just because I have social anxiety. So I just get a little anxious during this time of year knowing that I'm expected to show up to a lot of places all dressed up for pictures and stuff like that, and it just not stresses me out because I love seeing my family because we don't always get together or don't have time to always get together as much. I think this Thanksgiving and everything will just be really good to see my extended family. We're all gonna get together at my aunt's house, and I think it'll be a really good time, and I'm really excited to see everyone and just eat some good food. I'm sure everyone else is really excited for that as well. And yeah, just leave me your Thanksgiving plans down below. Let everyone else know what y'all are planning on doing. I'm so excited for this. I think it'll really appreciate this up pot. So yeah, I'm gonna give this girl and my compacta some little sprinkles of Osmocote fertilizing pellets. Pop on its hanger, and voila! My beautiful variegated Hoya Obovata is perfect again, once again. And I'm gonna go and give this a nice deep thorough watering so the soil is all nice and settled. I'm going to clean up here. I will show you where I end up putting all of the new plants, and then we will pop in with the outro. So let's go ahead and get this watered, and I'll show you where I have everything placed. Okay, quickly I'm going to take you into the noisy plant room to show you where I am going to hang my Obovata. It is messy. I've been doing some plant stuff obviously today, and yeah, I am going to be hanging my Hoya Obovata here on our little grow light clothes hanging rack thing that we've made here. And yeah, as you can see, I am going to just be hanging her here. That little growth point looks really, really happy, and it is under some amazing grow lights that Austin has. And if you can see, obviously its little neighboring plant here is a really big Nepenthes. Really, really cool pictures on this plant. One of Austin's favorites, I think. So yeah, just a really beautiful Hoya to add to this space. And it is all nicely watered and ready to acclimate to its new home. So really, really excited to watch this continue to vine out and now be a more trailing plant for me. So I'll keep you guys updated and follow along on Instagram, like I said, to keep updated on how these new baby leaves continue to develop. So yeah, let's go see where we place the other propagations. All right, we are here at my tall Millsbow cabinet. I do have a reel of me and Austin making this together, so if you want to see that, definitely go check that out. But as you can see, I did go ahead and place my Hoya Polyneura Variegata cuttings, my Hoya Obovata Variegata cuttings, as well as my Hoya Sunrise cuttings. And you can see the mother plant of the Hoya Polyneura is back there. Hopefully everything does well in here, and I hope they start to root for me quickly so I can be able to give you guys updates on Instagram. So again, follow along on there to keep up to date on any changes of that. And actually, looking in here now, I totally forgot I wanted to take cuttings of my Hoya Lori Lynn to plug back into the pot here. So I'll probably be taking 1 or 2 node cuttings off of that little long strand as well. Let's go ahead and see where I ended up putting my Hoya compacta. So yeah, here is where I ended up putting my other Hoya that we ended up constructing all together here today. It's really loud in here because of the fans. But as you can see, I think it'll do really, really well in here. It has ample lighting, a lot of humidity, and good airflow, so hopefully I got all of the mealybugs off of her and we don't start another outbreak in this cabinet. But other than that, I think that is all we had to do today, and I actually got a lot more done than I thought I was going to. I'm really, really happy that we got that Obovata in a hanging basket, because I think it really freed up a lot of room here in this cabinet. As you can see, it made room for our compacta here, as well as I could probably fit in more plants here. And yeah, I think it'll just help a lot with space. So with that, it does bring us to the end of today's video. So let's go ahead and roll the outro. Alrighty, I so do hope you guys enjoyed getting to see me take some of those Hoya propagations, as well as getting some of those current propagations all potted up and in their new homes. So if you did stick all the way to the end, I do appreciate you, and please ask that you leave a like, maybe even a comment down below sharing what you have recently propagated in your collection, or even hitting that subscribe bell so that you are notified every time I upload a new video, and to help me keep on planting. Please also don't forget to follow me on Instagram at planted.hippie, where I post new planty photos daily. So with that, I will see you all in the next video. Bye guys!